the blockchain doesn't hold the data. ODN holds the data.
This is about you. This is about me. This is about trust and transparency. Something about it brings clarity. I look into your eyes and I clearly see you need OriginTrail and the DKG. Welcome back, my beautiful OriginTrail pioneers. Today we're going to be talking about the OriginTrail purpose and challenges. Why does this ecosystem exist? Why do we care for this decentralized knowledge graph? So we're really going to be diving into the issues faced in the supply chain. At the OriginTrail Liftoff event, we had an amazing description of the purpose behind the OriginTrail ecosystem. It says, we believe sustainable supply chains are only possible by allowing people and organizations to benefit from trusted knowledge exchange. So when we're talking about leveraging the OriginTrail decentralized network, we're talking about data sharing. We're not really talking about much else other than data sharing. And we're really talking about data sharing between stakeholders. Now you may be wondering, am I a stakeholder? Well, yes, you are. If you participate in any supply chain of choice, you are a stakeholder in that supply chain. And well, how we share data between all of these stakeholders, from manufacturers, suppliers, and consumers like me who just sit on the couch and I eat Kit Kats all day. Right? Now, there are a couple of issues as stated in the OriginTrail white paper that they are trying to resolve. There are two key factors impeding data collection and sharing in supply chains. Number one, data is fragmented. Data silos and low data interoperability exist across the supply chain in both multi-organization and single organization supply chains. Now, if you are a business or some sort of entity in the supply chain and you have a competitive advantage, you do not want all of your competitors to have access to your private databases and your private data. Thus, you may be very reluctant when it comes to sharing that. Well, what this leads to is further fragmentation of the supply chain, where we have manufacturers or consumers only knowing who they bought from, or manufacturers only knowing who they bought from and sold to. As you can see, this presents an issue. Or it may not even be that you don't want to share your data. Maybe you do want to share your data, and because you're using, let's say, a solution by IBM, and someone else may be using a solution by, let's say, Walmart. Let's say these software solutions don't communicate well together. Well, you're not going to be able to share data. So this is where the OriginTrail ecosystem comes into play. By applying these GS1 standards, everyone in the supply chain, all stakeholders, will be speaking the same language, allowing for data to be transmitted with ease. But not just with ease, in security. So now let's dive into the second issue that the OriginTrail ecosystem really tackles in supply chains. There is no suitable decentralized solution for supply chain data. There are no solutions that can provide the needed level of performance, scalability, and trust for interconnected data in supply chains, while at the same time are cost effective. Now, again, when we talk about decentralization and the power of decentralization really allows everyone in the supply chain to have a stake, an equal stake of power in the supply chain. For example, in the OriginTrail decentralized network, every node is equal in power to the other node. No one is superior than the other. No one has extra benefits or is the overlord of the network. Everyone is equal. But you know what? This also brings up an amazing point. The OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph is a specialized implementation for supply chain data. It is a one-of-a-kind implementation. This is what makes OriginTrail so unique. Because supply chain data itself is incredibly complex, it requires a specialized database that can handle these complex computations. As a result of its structure, it not only allows for stakeholders to share supply chain data, OriginTrail also allows for the sharing of personal data, compliant with GDPR and CCPA standards. Allowing for this solution to be reached in a decentralized manner is quite a big deal. No centralized parties, no one snooping on your data. It's totally open source and secure. So now that you really understand the purposes and challenges of what we're trying to solve here, I'm going to leave you with a snippet of a paper released by John G. Keel, who has contributed amazing things to the OriginTrail ecosystem. Now, this paper is titled Leveraging the Internet of Things and Blockchain Technology in Supply Chain Management. This paper was posted on the 22nd of July 2019. Now, John G. Keel is a former chairman of
of the Trace Alliance. We will be getting into what exactly the Trace Alliance is later, but for now, let's understand what he had to say in this particular piece of literature. Modern supply chains have evolved into highly complex value networks and turned into a vital source of competitive advantage. However, it has become increasingly challenging to verify the source of raw materials and maintain visibility of products and merchandise while they are moving through the value chain network. Now we're going to skip a little bit further down, and it says, when combined, IoT and blockchain technology have the potential to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of modern supply chain. Not only does the OriginTrail ecosystem have support for blockchain technologies and blockchains, but it also has support for the standards of IoT. The OriginTrail ecosystem supports a multitude of different data standards. This is what gives it its flexibility. So when you combine the ability of blockchain and IoT and all of these other functionalities and data standards that the OriginTrail system can support, you can see that OriginTrail is in a prime position to revolutionize the global supply chain. Well, data pioneers, stay tuned, because in the next video, you learn about the inception of this data ecosystem that we call the OriginTrail ecosystem. Again, it's not a company, it's an ecosystem. Until then, stay tuned and stay beautiful.
The blockchain doesn't hold the data. ODN holds the data.
This is about you. This is about me. This is about trust and transparency. Something about it brings clarity. I look into your eyes and I clearly see you need OriginTrail and the DKG.